Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Brokers Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Luchauskas. Today's the 22nd of June 2018. So welcome everyone. Today's Friday, the last trading day for this week. So we're gonna have a quick look at the markets, what's happening with them right now, and well, what levels to watch out for later on and probably for next week. So before we start looking at that, let's quickly have a look at our risk disclaimer. So the content of this webinar does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to either rest and we can continue. Also, a very quick reminder of our JFD Brokers research page here, where you can go in and have a look at different analysis that we do on a daily basis, with different trading shoutouts, and of course our main daily analysis that we produce every morning. Feel free guys to check us out here. And I think you can find something useful for yourselves. But for now, let's quickly touch on the markets. And the first one I want to look at is the FTSE 100 now. This is what I was talking about this morning, and certainly, of course, we're having a nice bounce. I mean, you're probably all seeing it. I had this area highlighted as a potential target here on the upside, the 7610, and we're seeing that the FTSE is piercing through that level quite nicely and easily, and we're seeing that we're not far now from this 21 EMA that could potentially get a touch today. Certainly, of course, if this stays below this, still this candle, I mean, it's a very bullish candle here, and we could end up seeing maybe a continuation to the upside, something like on Monday. And overall, like on this bigger picture, you can see that we are within this falling wedge formation, so we could end up moving higher here towards a test of this upper side of the wedge. Certainly, I mean, the downside, on the downside, we would need to see a nice move back below the 7610 in order to start kind of considering these levels again here, that where the index was trading at before. So certainly a break below the 7610 could push this index back towards the 7565 or maybe even slightly lower. But for now, it's difficult to talk about the downside just judging by this current bullish candle. Let's quickly have a look at the DAX, and the DAX is certainly getting a bit of a retracement as well to the upside, but not as big as, of course, not as big as the FTSE. Well, still we are trading below this 12,600 mark. Now this is a key area to watch, especially today, seeing that we're now kind of moving back to the upside. And of course, if this index is going to stay here below this 12,600, well, I mean, there could be some potential for this one, for this index to continue moving lower next week. The level that we're keeping an eye on here on the downside is the 12,450, approximately there. Slightly below that, we do have some good areas as well. Let me just quickly highlight that one for you guys. So that's around the 12,300. Now this could be the next potential area if the 12,400 continues to break. Now certainly at the moment we're seeing that it's moving higher, and we are kind of getting closer towards this 12,600, so keep a close eye on that one today. Let's quickly touch on US oil, WTI. So that's the whole kind of everything relates around the oil today because of the OPEC meeting, and we can see that we're getting a slight boost here, a nice boost here in WTI, and we're kind of testing this upwards moving trend line that has been running since around end of August 2017, so last year. And certainly the question here is, are we going to stay here above that line, or actually we're going to still retrace back down and maybe close even below this 67.15 mark? Now keep a close eye on that one. Certainly good area to watch. If we do get a close below below these two, below this upwards moving trend line and this 67.15, well, we could end up maybe moving lower next week again. But for now, like I said, all eyes are on this area here. Let's see where this commodity closes today. Looking at the Brent, and Brent of course is making a push higher today as well. Certainly we're still below this kind of short-term downwards moving trend line here. Keep a close eye on it, because if we're gonna move higher here again, we could end up testing, well, not only this downwards moving trend line, but also this 21 EMA together with the 50 EMA, which altogether, three of them are going to prove to be a very good area of resistance. And if this pushes higher and we get a close above this above these three lines, then, well, I mean, this is going to be looking quite positive for Brent. I mean, we could end up moving higher here towards this next key area of resistance at around 77.8, certainly, but this is something for next week probably. Keep a close eye on this. Certainly continue monitoring it, because the meeting is still ongoing, the OPEC meeting is still ongoing, and we'll go into Saturday as well, so we might get some sort of a maybe gap on Monday. But again, maybe just not to over speculate on this one, but probably, long story short here, just keep on monitoring this area, guys. This area around the 75.85 mark, so could be a good area to watch. On the downside, certainly we do have this upwards moving trend line still that hasn't been touched yet. Could be a good maybe time for this one to reverse back down and touch it, but certainly this is what we want, and the market never does what we want it to do. Let's have a quick look at DXY. DXY is selling off here and moving lower, currently finding its support here at around this area that I had marked, this 94.55 mark. So keep a close eye on this one. If we continue moving lower, then a nice good area of support could be this 21 EMA, from which the index could bounce back to the upside. Excuse me. And of course we will continue monitoring it going into today's close, where this index wants to stay. Certainly we can see that we are below this this area, this key area that I was talking about and I mentioned in my previous videos, this area between the 95 mark and the 95.15. We're probably going to stay below this today, so we could probably end up moving lower excuse me, moving lower next week. So even actually looking at the week, oops, sorry, the wrong button here. Even looking at the weekly chart, which there we go, we can see that the candle is currently becoming more bearish. And we're also, what's interesting to point out here, looking at the weekly chart on the DXY, is that we tried to attempt to break this 200 EMA, but it proved to be a very strong area of resistance, and we can see that the index moved lower from here. Certainly the day is not finished yet, but to be honest, the way the market is developing right now and the way this index is developing right now, we could end up below this 200 EMA, and of course that would be a sign of weakness and going into next week. Let's quickly have a touch on a few pairs, and the first one I want to look at is the euro dollar, getting a nice pop here to the upside. This is the area that I was talking about, the 116,500 today. So I was mentioning this area this morning, and told you guys to keep a close eye on it. We can see that the pair managed to go higher and touch this 21 EMA, which proved to be a very nice area of resistance. Certainly continue monitoring this 116,500. Let's see where the day is going to close. If we're going to close somewhere around here, let's say above the 116,500 but below the 21 EMA, still this could be seen as a bullish sign, and next week we could end up pushing higher again, maybe moving towards this 117,250 could be a possibility. Certainly if this is a key, just probably a level where it would stall a little bit and it would then continue pushing higher if we get a nice break above the 117,250. So the next level to watch here on the upside is the 118,400, which was marked here by the highs that we had around the 7th of June. So good area to watch. Certainly keep a close eye on today's close. If we stay below the 116,500, still stay sharp. Probably the candle is going to stay bullish, and we could end up testing this area again. And of course, we'll have to see. We'll have to see next week what it wants to do with that. Does it want to stay above it, or actually this is going to be acting as a nice area of resistance from where the pair is going to move lower and test the long-term upwards moving trend line again. So for now, let's not over speculate here. Let's see what it wants to do with this area today. Let's quickly have a look at GBPUSD. Now GBPUSD is pushing higher, also meeting its resistance at around this 21 EMA. Shown here is the yellow line. It's not far from this other level that I was talking about, the 133.40. So keep a close eye on it. A break above that could open the path towards this 134.70 mark, so which was the marked here by the highs that we had here also on the 7th of June. So good area to watch. For now, it's like I said, all eyes are in today's close, yep. I mean, probably we're gonna end up in a bullish candle here, end up the day in a bullish candle. But to be honest, if we suddenly get a reversal here to the downside, well, I mean, you can continue monitoring this 132.05, but at the moment this is looking more bullish than bearish. So, but still, nevertheless, let's see where the day closes today. Let's quickly have a touch on Aussie dollar, and Aussie dollar is probably performing the best against the US dollar than the euro against the dollar or the GBP against the dollar. So we can see this nice move here higher. Certainly a commodity driven currency pair. Oil is spiking, then gold is probably moving a little bit higher as well today. So we can see this Aussie dollar moving higher, and we're having a nice bounce here from this area, this level here that I had highlighted, this 0.73750. We're breaking this 0.7415 mark. Question here is, are we going to stay above this? For now, if judging by this current picture, it seems that yes, we could stay above this. And if we do stay above this 0.7415 mark, then well, this is could be looking quite bullish. And we could, next week, we could end up moving higher here, maybe testing this 0.74 500 mark again, and then of course maybe even moving higher towards this short-term upside support line. We could end up testing that from underneath. So for now, certainly continue monitoring this area here, the 0.7415. Let's see if it closes above this level today or not. And one more pair that I really wanted to quickly touch on is the USDCAD. Now, USDCAD, we saw this nice spike here today to the upside just recently. The Canadian CPI numbers came out, and certainly missed their expectations. And initially, we saw this spike higher. We broke this 133.50 mark, broke it to the upside, managed to reach the area approximately around the 133.800. And from there we retraced back down, and we can see that the bears are kind of pushing this one below the 133.50 mark. Just to kind of remind you, the 133.50 has been the high here that we had on the 21st of June last year. Good level to watch. And of course, all eyes are on today's close. We can see that yesterday we closed the day with a doji, so today we might do something similar. And of course, if we do get something like this, then this could be a bit of a reversal signal, let's say, for the near future, and we could maybe see a move lower here initially. A bit of retracement could do for this pair, but something probably to watch out next week. If we do get a bit of retracement back to the downside, then keep a close eye on this area that I've got highlighted here between the 131.700 and the 131.250. Now, certainly the stronger one here is the 131.250, which was marked here by the highs that we had here in March, and that was approximately the highest point in March this year. So good level to watch, certainly. But the first one, just keep a close eye on this 131.70 mark as well. Okay guys, I'll have to wrap it up here. I hope you found it useful. I hope you got something good out of it. If you did, wonderful. And please join me then. In that case, please join me on Monday on my Traders Espresso early in the morning. It's 6 o'clock GMT time, 7 o'clock British Summer Time. But for now, I hope you have a good remaining US session and fantastic weekend. Yep, guys. See you on Monday. Bye bye.